If you're always struggling to stay consistent on your diet and find yourself binging and then giving up and starting again on Monday, then you're not alone and it's not your fault. My name is Chelsea and I've lost 40 pounds on a plant-based diet, and I struggled with my weight for nearly a decade. I was always trying to eat green smoothies and gag on these gross tiny salads, and I'd always end up hungry, so my binges on the weekend would get me out of a calorie deficit, gaining all the weight back, and then feeling like a failure on Monday when I started the cycle again. As of today, I've lost 40 pounds and I've been able to keep them off for the past 6 years by understanding some really simple habits and concepts that I'm going to share with you in this video. I'm actually going to share with you how to eat more food and lose weight at the same time. And these are my 5 top foods to help you to feel full and satisfied while never having to count a calorie. By the way, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share one simple concept that changed the game for me and stopped me binging for good. Before we get into these 5 foods, let's look at why dieting typically fails and why eating less is actually the opposite of what you want to be doing. So take a scenario where maybe you're eating like 1,500 calories a day on a typical diet. You can do this for a short period of time, but you're going to feel very hungry and restricted. Over the course of the week, that's 7,500 calories over 5 days. But then the weekend comes around and you have a 10,000 calorie day when you're having like a binge because there's some chocolate, there's some chips, maybe there's some beers in there. Actually eating 5,000 calories a day over 2 days is very easy to do, especially if you have felt restricted leading up to that time. So if you look at the end of the week, we've got 17,500 calories as your weekly average. That's a daily average of 2,500 calories, which for most women is not going to get them into that weight loss zone. Contrast that by just eating 2,000 calories a day, which for most people seems like a lot, and it is. But if you're already eating a lot of processed foods or you're binging and inconsistent with any kind of diet you're doing, then even 2,000 calories a day is going to be less than the 1,500 and then the 10,000 calorie weekend. The number one reason that most women will consistently gain weight throughout their lives is not because they're eating too much on a day-to-day basis. It's because they are eating too little and then having massive binges, or Christmas and the holidays rolls around and the processed junk food that sneaks in means that their calorie average is just higher than what it needs to be to either lose or maintain. So they constantly vacillate between losing and then gaining. It sounds pretty sad, and it is, but there is a way to change it. So the reason that these 5 foods are so amazing for fat loss is they're going to help you to eat more in terms of volume while lowering the calories, but they're also going to keep you full and satisfied, which means that it's much easier for you to stay consistent. So you're going to be working smarter rather than harder and more effectively. And the number one food that's going to help you to do this is the humble potato. Why? Because potatoes are very, very low in calories for the weight that they are. They're only about 400 calories per pound, which means that you could eat a lot of potatoes, and because they have another factor, which is high satiety, they're actually the highest satiety food on the planet, which means that when you eat them, you feel very full, very satisfied. Think about that really stuffed Thanksgiving feeling. That's what you're going to get from eating potatoes. And so high satiety combined with low calories means that you have this natural boundary that happens to overeating when you consume a lot of potatoes. It means that even if you were to massively overeat in terms of volume and absolutely stuff your face, you'd still not be eating all that many calories. And I did a whole video recently about how you can actually have some of the amazing effects of Ozempic, which is a hunger suppressant, simply by eating more potatoes. So go and check out that video next. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are what I have eaten every single day over the past 6 years that helped me to lose 40 pounds and now keep it off easily. And I never have to go hungry. Do not be scared of potatoes. They are one of the best things that you can be eating. Just don't deep fry them or think that chips or smothering them in sour cream is going to help you, because that won't. Just don't turn them into fries and you'll be fine. The second food that's going to change the game for you is things like broccoli, kale, and then other dark leafy green vegetables. So I love broccoli, and the reason for this is that it has a lot of volume. It's naturally low in calories, so the same as potatoes, you can eat a lot of it and you're never going to overeat. But it also contains something called thylakoids. And thylakoids, I always make this like either thylakoid or thylakoid. It is thylakoids, but what they do is that they help to naturally suppress hunger by blocking fat absorption in your intestine. And so what that means is that if you have undigested calories, because those calories getting blocked, the fat is getting blocked in your intestine, your body is registering that those calories are still inside of you, so it's going to turn off some of your hunger. So you're not only getting all of the micronutrients and all of the amazing benefits of being able to eat more volume from broccoli and kale and all of these foods, but you're also going to have less cravings, which is going to result in less binging because you're going to be more consistent. So go eat your broccoli like your mother taught you. Number 3 is soups and stews. Now, there's lots of research on this that when people consume soups and stews, they naturally lower the amount of calories that they're eating during the day, even if they eat ad libitum. So ad libitum means as much as you want. You never have to count a calorie, you never have to go near MyFitnessPal, and you just stuff your face. And the reason that soups and stews are so amazing is that they have so much water, and water obviously doesn't have any calories. I don't know if you knew this, but it doesn't, which means that you can eat a lot of volume, you can fill out your stomach, but you're gonna be eating less calories overall. I eat so many soups and stews. I actually have a soup in the microwave right now, which I'm very excited to eat once I finish filming this video. And when I first started my weight loss, within the first month, where I was most intentional about trying to get the weight off with as much desperation as you're ever gonna have when you first start a diet, I ate so many soups. And I really leaned into being able to eat a lot of food at that point because I felt like I had to almost heal from so many years of restriction and finally feel like I could eat again. And going through that period of restriction for 10 years and then being able to eat as much as I wanted has allowed me to move through that and now get to a place where I can be in touch with my hunger and fullness cues. But I had to eat a lot of food first because it was such a response to restriction. And so all of these foods help you do this, but soups and stews are absolutely amazing, so definitely add them to your weekly roster. The 4th food that is going to help you is berries. Berries are naturally sweet, which means that you're going to be able to solve for some of those cravings that come along when you want to have something sweet. There's so many different things that you can do with them, like having some low-calorie yogurt. I like soy yogurt with frozen berries. They're amazing to snack on. You almost can't beat a fresh blackberry. It is just divine. I feel like that's the cheesiest thing that I've ever said in my life. But berries are amazing because they are so low in calories, but they have so many varieties, and they also help to stop that sugar crash that can quite often happen when you eat sugar. And there's even studies that look at adding blueberries to something like pancakes, for example, and it will stop the sugar spike, not even by changing what is in the composition of the pancakes and reducing the sugar, simply by adding essentially more sugar, which is blueberries, a natural occurring sugar because it has fiber in it. Everything that we're trying to do here is just improve consistency. So if you have a beautifully amazing, divine, sweet treat that is going to be low in calories that you can eat at any point and have it as a dessert or a snack, then your consistency is going to be higher without sacrificing on eating less. So go eat your berries. The 5th food to be eating is carrots. And the reason I chose carrots is a bit more of a behavioral change tool, and that is that they solve the itchy mouth snacking situation. Itchy mouth is this really fascinating term that I learned from my Singaporean friend, and it basically means that your mouth just wants to chew. You're not actually hungry, but you want something in it. Sounds very dodgy.
You want something in it.
You could use any snacky vegetable for this, but I love carrot chips. I love carrots cut into sticks. I love whole carrots as well. And just having that in your fridge where you know there is something that you can go to when you are bored, when you are sitting in front of a movie, when you are in the car, any of those scenarios where you want to put food in your mouth, but you're not actually hungry. If you get through an entire carrot, that's only about 20 calories. And it's gonna take you a little bit of time as well. Carrots in and of themselves are pretty delicious. They're not amazing, but they are something that is going to help you to safeguard yourself from the hundreds, if not thousands of calories that most people consume when they're bored or when they're wanting some kind of comfort food for scenarios where they typically eat chips and high processed foods. You could also use grapes for this. I love berries in the same way, cucumbers, snap peas. Don't try to avoid eating in those scenarios completely. Just swap it for something that is going to add maybe 100 or 200 calories to your day as opposed to 2,000. So all those foods are amazing for fat loss, and I'd love to hear in the comments which one of these you're going to start adding to your day. I would recommend that you eat these every single day. But the thing that really changed for me is that I started to see my weight loss as something that I had to do for the rest of my life rather than just a short-term fix. So I started to think about what I could conceivably do every single day and how I could feel full and satisfied and enjoy what I was doing. And that became the litmus test for success as opposed to how quickly I saw those pounds going down on the scales. Because I knew if I could lower my calories, even if it was just a little bit, by swapping out the foods that I was eating, but getting more consistent over time, then even if it took me slightly longer than what I conceptually would have loved if I had been perfect with my 1,500 calorie diet or my 75 hard or my 1,000 calorie workout that I did every day, that I always ended up gaining the weight back from in 2 weeks anyway, then I would actually get to my goal. So if you shift your view of weight loss to building habits that you can sustain, as opposed to how fast you can see results that you never will, then you will actually get there. And the proof is in the pudding. And the pudding is me. I lost 40 pounds, 6 years on, I've maintained that. So this does really work. And I've now seen hundreds of our clients and thousands of women who I've talked to, who have watched this content, who have been able to do the same. So work smarter, not harder, and eat more, not less. And if you want more help for free, then I have some resources that I've made just for you. I'm gonna put them in the description. I wish I'd had all this information a decade ago. I'm not here to gatekeep, so go check that out if you want more help. And I'll see you next week for another video. All right, bye.